when you go through things, everything that you choose to keep, you want it to be something that's joyful. But not everything sparks joy. What is that ideal life that you want to have at home? And we always want to choose joy. That's generally what makes us happy. I know that, like, usually when people contact me, they're at that point where the chaos is too much and they can't enjoy their lives. When I had lost my dad, it took me 10 years to let go of his stuff. I say embrace the mess.
Welcome to the Ontario Homeowners Show. I'm Mohsen Lakhani, and this is the show where we get real about what it takes to own, maintain, and love your home. From renovations to raising a family, legal insights to mental health, no topic is off limits. This is about real people, real value, and real conversations to help you live better, right where you are. Each week, I sit down with trusted experts, service professionals, and local changemakers to bring you the strategies, stories, and solutions that make homeownership easier. This is the Ontario Homeowners Show, powered by Devon Real Estate Advisors. Are you ready? Let's go. Michele, thank you so much for joining us on the Ontario Homeowners Show today. How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm great. Thanks so much for having me. I'm excited to talk to you.
It's been phenomenal having these conversations with you before, and I'm so excited to bring you on our show today. Can you start off by telling us a little bit about you, your business, how you got into it?
Sure. So my name is Michele. My business is Modern and Minimalist. I actually started my business through my own journey of being a minimalist. And I had an Instagram account. I called it Modern and Minimalist, tracked my journey, and then I started to realize, like, this might be something that I want to do. I read the book, The Life-Changing Magic of Tidying Up by Marie Kondo. That book really helped me to put my house in order. And when I did that, I really wanted to know, who is Marie Kondo? Who is this person that inspired me and transformed my home? So when I looked her up, I saw, oh, I could actually be a certified KonMari consultant and teach others to do this. So that's when I took the plunge. I went to New York City. I trained with her team. And then from there, I just evolved into becoming a professional organizer. And I've been doing it ever since for the past 8 years in Toronto.
KonMari, what do you mean by that?
So Marie Kondo is, I would say, like, she's a businesswoman who made the tidying world really huge when it came to, just putting your house in order, following certain steps. That is her method, the KonMari method. She follows a way of going by what sparks joy, and that just makes things a little bit more simpler when you're trying to declutter your home, choosing what really adds value to your life, and it's more about what you keep instead of what you let go of. So she follows these categories instead of going by rooms, and you basically go through your entire home through these categories, and you really realize how many items that you have as you go through the process. And it can be a lot. It's a long process.
I'm sure you've seen all sorts of clutter since you've been doing this,
I have.
but you mentioned something earlier about doing it by going by what causes you joy. Did I say that right?
Yes.
What do
Yes.
you mean by
Yes.
that?
So, sometimes when we're trying to get through our home, we're not in the right mindset. First and foremost, the mindset is where you need to be. You have to motivate yourself by really thinking about what is that ideal life that you want to have at home. And we always want to choose joy. That's generally what makes us happy, right? So just imagining, like, how you envision your home and then your life outside of the home. But also, when you go through things, everything that you choose to keep, you want it to be something that's joyful. But not everything sparks joy because, if you're going through batteries and light bulbs, like, that's not sparking joy. It's just a necessity, it's something that you need, right? But say
Right.
you're going through your clothing, that's when, you chose what type of clothing to wear. So you are going to choose what still sparks joy when you're going through the process. So you
So
do that with every item.
if I wanted to, okay, full disclosure, I
Yeah,
have clothes from 7 years ago that
that's
maybe I
okay.
haven't worn, but I'm like, one
Okay.
day I will. I really like the shirt. And when I
Yeah.
wear it, it brings me so much joy, let's say.
Yeah.
Does that mean
Yeah,
I hold
yeah.
on to it? Or do I still stick with the rule if I haven't worn it in the last, let's say, 12 months or 18 months, get rid of it?
That's okay because that's what I like about her method is that there's no pressure to let go of things. It's more about what you keep. If you have a goal to wear it eventually, then make that happen, you know? But if you eventually realize, like, okay, I haven't touched it in so long, I probably am not going to wear it at some point, right? Like, you have to really be also realistic with yourself. But I think when you go through the process, it allows you to open your mind more to what you don't need anymore. And I think then you'll probably accept that, okay, I think I'm ready to move on. It sparked joy when I got it. And now I'm ready to let it go.
What
Yeah.
an interesting way to look at it, right? Because
Uh,
we're at home, we're looking, oh, I have so many clothes. My partner, she has so many clothes, and don't tell her I said that, okay? But she
It's
she looks at
okay.
it
No
and
judgment.
she's like, I haven't worn this in 7 years or 5 years, right?
Yeah.
And she's like, well, one day you never know, I might be in the mood to wear it. And I'm like, hey, if it's been over a year and a half, 2 years, and you haven't worn it,
Yeah. Right.
donate it, sell it.
It's
I don't
true.
know.
Yeah.
Or
Someone might appreciate it more and actually wear it more.
But I
Yeah, I know
love
it's,
how it's like if it brings joy, that's okay.
yes,
It brings
it's
you
okay.
joy. Wearing it brings you
Yeah.
joy. Holding on to it maybe brings you joy as well. Amazing.
That's
Thank you.
true. Yeah. Yeah, I've had a client who said that she wanted to keep it for like an item of clothing for eye candy. She liked looking at
Mm,
it instead of wearing it. So I thought, okay, that's fine too.
there you go. So that's one way to go about it.
Yeah. Piece of
Amazing.
art.
Amazing. So I'm sure over the years you've gone through a lot of homes you've seen, and by I don't want to say by nature, but we as human beings we like to hoard.
Yeah.
And hold on to stuff. Maybe it's
Yeah.
sentimental, maybe it's goal oriented, maybe it's, as you said, joy oriented. But
Right.
could you share a story where you've really helped a homeowner through a tricky
Yeah.
situation?
For sure. Yeah, so not too long ago, I helped a homeowner go through a really difficult time in her life. She had lost her husband, and she had also lost her father. So that was all like in a matter of like a couple of years. She reached out to me because she got to that point where it was just too difficult for her to get her home in order. And I'm glad that she did find me because, yeah, I'm the right person to guide someone in that situation. So um, she had to deal with obviously her father's stuff and her husband's stuff. That was all passed on to her. You know, she didn't have a big living space, but she tried to get through what she could get through with me. And a lot of it was sentimental, of course, right? Like no one is really ready to quickly let go of that, even though the person's no longer here. But she wanted to honor them, right? She wanted to honor them and she had created some spaces in her home that was sort of like a spot where you could remember that person, not an altar but somewhere where it's just like their memories are there. So yeah, I helped her to get through her space, get through their stuff, and then also her stuff because she wasn't fully settled in this place where she was living. So it really helped her to choose things obviously that spark joy, that made it easier for her. But I think also just having someone with you to sort of push you to get through it is what helped to motivate you, and someone just to talk to because it's not an easy thing to go through loss. And sometimes she just needed to let it out. So it was nice that I could be like a friend, and get to know her story and help her make that process a lot easier so she could finally feel good to be in her home.
Amazing. Wow.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. Curious,
Yeah.
would somebody need your services or your support multiple times over a course of, let's say, a year or a couple of years?
Well,
Or
I
is it
try
just like
my
one and done?
so some cases it is one and done because I really try to create a system for people that works, right? So they can maintain it and not have to go through it again. And if they do need more support, it's probably because they're still going through the process of getting through their home and maybe, it might not get done as quickly as they can do it because they have their work. They have to find time to have me because if I'm going to go through the decluttering process with someone, It's really like a one-on-one thing where I need that person there to make their decisions. I can't do that for somebody. And if they just purely want someone to organize for them, then that's when I can do it without them present and they can still go to work and do what they need to do. But yeah, sometimes it's one and done if the system works for them. And if the process is taking longer for them, then they might have me back. Some people just want like a refresh, like they want, someone to just come in and fix it again because maybe they're
That would
challenged.
probably be me.
That's
Like
okay. That's okay.
you tell me, I'll spend an entire weekend going through my wardrobe and
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, I've got this here, I've got this here,
Yeah.
and not a week goes by and I'm like,
It's okay. It's hard because, like, if you're not working, you'd rather be doing something else, right? Like, you want to do something that is more fun,
yeah.
like whatever it is that you do outside of work life, and spending time with your loved ones, like, yeah, you want to do that. So I think when people have me come, it's just they realize they're stuck and then they need that someone to push. And then,
Mm,
yeah, and then once you get through it, then it frees up more time for yourself when you get
mm.
through the home.
I think it's bringing a little bit of order to the chaos that's in our day-to-day lives, right?
Of
And
course.
that I think on its own is something that I know I want that order, but
Yes.
then it's also like, how long do I need to abide by this order? Maybe I'm okay with the chaos, right?
Yeah, maybe, but I know that like usually when people contact me, they're at that point where the chaos is too much and they can't enjoy their lives, right? So,
I agree because if I look back, every time I've done my wardrobe or
yeah,
organized my entire workplace, it
yeah,
always stems from a fact that I might be frustrated within a certain point of my life. And
yes,
I'm like, okay, you know what?
yes,
Okay, whatever. Let me
yeah,
get this done. I'm gonna get this
right,
done. And
yes.
immediately, like even going through that process, I'm
Mm,
like, aha,
that's
butterflies and
good.
roses,
That's good.
right?
I mean, it's good that you've attempted it and that you've tried to do the process yourself, because it is hard to want to do it,
Yeah,
but you've seen the results after that. It's helped you
100%.
for sure.
Amazing. So tell me about who you like working with. Who's your ideal client? And at what point do you feel like
Yeah.
somebody should reach out to you?
So obviously, I'd like to help everyone that needs help, but I've helped, working professionals who don't have time, families, usually with young children who also don't have time, people with other like disabilities, could be physical and mental. I've worked with a lot of people with ADHD. Some people don't know that they have it, but then I think they think they might have it. So yeah, it's just, people who have no time but also struggle mentally to just get through it. Yeah, my ideal client is really like anyone who is struggling and overwhelmed with their home. I've worked even with like single men. Some men don't think that they reach out, but they do. And they need help too, right? So I think,
It sounds a little bit cliched, but I
right?
think we can all use sort of a feminine touch in our day-to-day lives.
Yeah,
And I
yeah.
and I feel for not to be sexist or anything of that
Of
nature.
course.
It's just a
Yeah.
different feel.
It is. It
It's
is.
maybe call it motherly to an extent.
Well, I mean, the majority of people that I know who do home organizing are female. And also, when I was doing the KonMari method, the other consultants were mostly female. There were men too, but it wasn't a
Hmm.
huge portion or population of it. But yeah, I think yeah, it is sort of like a different touch, right? Like coming from maybe someone who is a mom like me, right?
Right.
But
Amazing.
yeah.
Cool. So tell me a little bit about, I know you mentioned earlier that you help them create a system of maybe like a habit of sorts. How does that work?
Well, sometimes people, when they tend to start the organizing process, they buy a whole bunch of stuff to help them get organized.
Guilty.
Yeah, and that's okay because you expect that that's what works, right? Like, here's something that I'm going to put something into, right? But sometimes those items don't always work, right? Could be that you also need to let go of stuff to free up space, but also just the way certain things are put into your home, like maybe the system that you have in place it's not functioning for your home. So I come in and I see how things are. I always tell people, like, keep it in its natural state. Don't try to tidy for me because I want to see how you live. And some people have gotten cleaners or someone to tidy before I came. And I said, I don't really see how you're living if you do that. It's not going to help you, but that's not always what happens, but it's good for me to see so that I can actually help solve the problem.
I kind of understand where they're coming from, and I'll tell you
Mm,
why.
okay.
If we've moved into a new place, we're gonna have the
Yeah,
cleaners come in and do a complete clean of the
for
like spick
sure.
and span, top to bottom clean of the
For
place.
sure. For sure.
Now, here's where it gets tricky. We might have spent four, five, and $600 on the
Yeah.
cleaner, right? And they might have
Yeah.
spent 4 to 6 hours, whatever that looks like, to make this place look really amazing.
Right. Right.
But we're gonna come back at it. Maybe it's just the way I've been raised. Maybe it's just the way we've kind of agreed to live.
Yeah. Yeah. Of
We'll go
course.
back down on our knees and we'll screw up something where we feel that's still sticky, right?
Yeah.
Or maybe it's
That's okay.
OCD. I don't know.
I
On the
know. No,
other hand,
I think I'm the same way too.
yeah, like on the other hand, the home's going to be completely clean, but
Yes.
then we're going to go at it an extra effort if we know
Right.
somebody's coming over. We're like, oh, scrub,
Yeah.
broom,
Yeah. I get
right?
it. I get it. I
So
totally get it.
I get where they're coming from.
For
Cool.
sure. For sure.
So would you be okay stepping into a dirty room
Of course. And I
as
have.
long as it's not filthy?
I mean, I have seen that too because obviously, like, if people don't have their home in order, it's going to be harder to clean, right? So I try to get people to have less stuff on surfaces so that they can actually clean underneath, right? And yeah, and you'll feel better once you can get to it, right? Like I know people want to have a spot where they drop things off, which is a very common thing, right? You need a drop off spot, right? Like usually it's a counter space or, somewhere near the entryway. Sometimes it's the dining table. Some people do that too, like somewhere where there's a tabletop.
That's your usual spot.
I guess that's what people
We're
would
gonna come in,
normally.
put our keys,
Yeah.
letters,
Yeah.
whatever
And I mean
on
it
that
needs
spot.
to it needs to live somewhere, that's for sure. But I guess once it starts becoming a bigger pile and accumulating more, then that's when then you can't clean underneath, right? So
Right.
then you have to figure out like where are those items going to live. It's like they made their way into the home but not fully where they're supposed to go, where they're supposed to
On
belong.
that note,
Yeah.
and this has been a life changer for me. We
Good,
ended up
good.
buying a robot vacuum, right? And we
Wow.
bought it because we're like, at least it's gonna go in and clean, or at least vacuum as much as it can
Yeah,
on a daily, consistent basis.
for
And the
sure.
first, second day, third day, we realized, oh, we can't have this here. We can't put this
Oh,
on the floor. We got to move this somewhere else or completely out of the way.
that's how
So
it is,
now
right?
we've had less sort of clutter
Good.
on the
On the
floor,
floor,
and we're just
yeah.
like, I did not know we had that much. It just looked like it's in its
Yeah.
place.
Yeah.
So
Oh, so that's good the robot forced you to move
yeah,
stuff
it made me
off the
look at it from a
floor.
different angle, right? I
Interesting.
can't get in there to clean
So yeah, so you've experienced that not just like not on a tabletop, but
on the
on the
countertops, but also
floor.
on the
Yeah,
floors.
that's right. Yeah. So that's good. It came handy.
Yeah, it did 100%.
I think I've probably stumbled upon some homes that have it too. And yeah, I didn't really see anything on the floor.
Yeah, it forces you because then
It
what's going to
does.
happen is it's either going to get stuck behind it, or if let's say it's a lamp, right?
Right, right.
And if it's not set up properly, as we hadn't had it set up properly initially,
I
it
see.
tangled in the lamp cord, and I'm like,
Okay.
oh boy, okay, whatever.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
then we realize, oh, you know what? We just got to really not have stuff on the floor anymore.
for sure. But that's a good
Amazing.
idea. That's a good tip too.
So other than that, have you noticed any other patterns on how people's homes get cluttered?
I mean, it's usually the high frequent areas, right? Like kitchen, bedroom. I mean, if you have kids, living spaces,
Everywhere.
it can be everywhere, really. Yeah, it gets like that. I always tell families, like, remember that your kids are small for so long and the items that they play with change. So it goes from like bigger items to much smaller items to digital. So I say embrace the mess because that's the fun times, right? Like
Are you hearing this, everybody? Embrace the mess.
from an organizer.
From an organizer,
I know.
embrace the mess.
But I think it's just because I'm a mom, right? And I know that period of my life where I miss that. I miss watching my son playing in the living room and like, being there most of the time. And now he's in his bedroom playing games like on devices, right? So it changes, right? So that's why I say that. But obviously, like, you want to have ways to like tidy up the area so that you're not going crazy or whenever you entertain.
What is something you feel more homeowners should understand about home organization, decluttering? Maybe a
Yeah.
misunderstanding or a myth that's
Oh,
fairly common.
yeah. So I may have mentioned a little bit before about like buying more bins and organizing items and that sort of thing.
Mm.
I think a lot of people see stuff online on social media, like on Pinterest and Instagram, to see that, like, you know, a lot of content creators can make their place look a certain way. You don't fully see the home. It could just be a portion of the home, but I think like we get like really, inspired by the homes that we see and we want it to look exactly, or not exactly, but look like that.
You're talking about the 20 pegboards, right?
I don't know, but some people think they can use that. I mean, maybe just a couple are okay for the office or for like a shed or something, but
Right.
for your tools. But sometimes we think that, that stuff might work. The organizing items might work, or what we see online. It might not be perfect, but you can definitely create a sanctuary that you can call your own, that has order. Don't feel like you have to make it perfect. You can get to the point where you're satisfied and content with how it is, as long as it functions well for you and your family or whoever you live with, or if you live on your own. As long as you can function and not feel the heaviness of all the clutter anymore. Yeah, I think yeah, people have a lot of misconceptions because of what they see online. So try not to look into that too much, because
Mm.
sometimes it's not real.
Don't compare other people's outsides to your insides, essentially.
Yes, that's right.
Cool.
Exactly.
Amazing. So, as we're wrapping this up, I have two more
Yeah,
questions for you.
sure.
What's one thing a homeowner can do today that could have a major and lasting impact in their space, in their home?
That's a good question. I always tell people to start off slow, not to overwhelm themselves, because the moment you try to do everything, it is overwhelming. And I tell that to my clients too. I'll warn them. I'll say it's going to get overwhelming because we're taking everything out. If you're going to do it on your own, just start with something small, like a junk drawer, or even like your entryway area where you might just have like outdoor accessories, like little things, right? Start with that space first and see how it goes, and just like what you did too with your clothing, as you got through it, you started off small and then work your way eventually to other areas. You don't want to do it all in one shot because it's not realistic. But I feel like if you target a small part of your home first, that will almost like motivate you to continue, but also motivate others if you live with other people to do something about their spaces. Like it's almost like a trickling effect that can get
Okay,
through the home. Yeah.
cool. Have you noticed reasons behind why some homes are more decluttered versus others? Is there like a is there some sort of
I think it has a
mindset
lot to
behind it?
I think it has a lot to do with maybe your lifestyle, or maybe the space that you live in. Like I feel like if you're in a small space, you're almost forced to only have so many things, right? And so much furniture, right? If you're downsizing, then you're definitely going to see how the stuff you had in your house is no longer going to fit in your smaller space. And that's going to force you really to do a big declutter. So it really depends on like, yeah, like where you live. And then, of course, like, are you willing to part with the stuff, right? I've been to so many different homes where sometimes I feel like their home looks fine to me, but they're not totally satisfied with it. I feel like, a lot of people who, say have more stuff in their home, maybe it's because like they had a bigger home and they filled it up with stuff. Sometimes having a bigger home forces you to fill it up because you feel like you need to and you don't want to see empty spaces. And then you just accumulate more things. And then depending on your life situation, maybe you now have a family. Their stuff has now accumulated in your space. So then you're dealing with much more, right? So yeah, it just depends on like your life situation. I've been in homes where it's a single person in an entire house and they have lots of stuff. And it's also because of where they previously lived. They brought it with them and it wasn't all their stuff, it was other people's stuff. So then it's like, yeah, so then they got to deal with that stuff, but they're not mentally ready to let go of it because it's sentimental.
Mm,
So it's like, yeah, it's hard sometimes. Like you have to want to let go, right? And sometimes it's the guilt of letting go or not being ready to let go of the past. So I think once someone's ready to let go of the past, then they can let go of more, you know? Like when I had lost my dad, it took me 10 years to let go of his stuff. Yeah. He didn't have a lot of stuff though. It was mostly like photography equipment. Like I thought I would do photography and I didn't.
that's
But
okay.
like certain things like that, like his music, I held on to some of his music, but it kind of like takes you back to remembering, that person that meant so much to you, right? So that's why it's harder to let go, right? But but yeah, we all have our ways of like choosing when the right time is to let go of that stuff. So I remind people to be gentle with themselves too and trying
The
to deal with
process,
that.
and you
It
got to trust the
is.
process.
Yes, yes, for sure. Definitely.
Cool. So, last question as we wrap this up.
Okay.
To you, what does it mean to be a homeowner?
Um, it's not just about owning a property. I think it's just like being able to have a space to call your home. That's your sanctuary that you have total control over, that you can enjoy your life in with yourself or whomever you're in. Um, yeah, it's a good feeling because when it's yours, you have more control of what you can do to it, right? Whatever you do on the outside, the inside. And it's the one thing you can have control over because with everything that happens in life, you can't control everything. And with your own home, you can control what's in it, what you choose to have in it, what you choose to like enjoy in your home. Yeah, I think it's just your special sanctuary that you can really do whatever you choose to do to it.
Beautiful. Amazing. Michelle, thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having
Where can
me.
people find you? How can we
Yeah,
get in
you
touch with you?
yeah, you can find me on Instagram at modern and minimalist. My website is also modernandminimalist.com. You can reach me either those ways. Yeah, find me, follow me, and I'd be happy to see you.
Amazing. Well, Michelle, thank you so much for joining us on the show today.
Thank you
Um,
so much for having me.
our pleasure. Well, folks, that's a wrap on today's episode on the Ontario Homeowner Show. Now, I do not know what resonated with you the most, but here's what I hope you took away. The people we bring on the show are change makers. They're out here doing the work that makes real life better, one family, one home, one conversation at a time. And if you like what you hear, and if you want more of this, go ahead and hit that subscribe button wherever you're listening. New episodes drop weekly. And if you want the highlights, tools, and guest takeaways straight to your inbox, go to ontariohomeownershow.ca and leave us your name and email. Thank you for listening. Until I see you next time, have a good one.